Hey everyone, it's Simone. I'm here with Bella Krystal, and we're here for another conversation, soul communication. These soul conversations are brought to you by the 64 Doors, Unlock Your Design, and the Living Matrix. And we're here a little early. We are usually recording right in the transit. We're a little early this week. And Bella and I were just talking about how wonderful it is because we've been in the Venus sequence with Bella and Ashley. And today our call was all about ecstasy. So it feels really light to be taping today. Bella, do you want to tell everybody how they can share and what's going on and just
Yes,
include?
what we are bringing through is the energy of the gene key or the gate that is in transit. So like Simone was saying, we're a little bit early. We're going into the 46 on Monday. If you have the 46 gate or the 46 gene key, or if you know somebody who does, please share it or tag them or ask questions. We have seen with Simone that it's really after like 20, 30 minutes that we see that people come on and ask questions. So often we kind of stay longer just because of that. But if you want to just from the beginning start to interact with us, we are super happy to see that and to be interacting with you.
Yeah, and whether you join us live or you join us afterwards, please comment and write your questions. Bella and I monitor, and we love it when you participate. And what we are seeing is the gate, the key, the hex, but wherever we are, they seem to be really having fun with us and loving our questions, and your complex questions have been so enlightening. So thank you for co-creating with us. So let's see what the 46 has to say. Hmm. The 46 showed up. It was like she emerged out of they no, they're saying we emerged. So they're coming through as divine masculine and divine feminine together. Um, they emerged like coming out of the ground as like Gaia. And I saw them lift their head up, and there was a big, beautiful sunflower on the crown of the head. Truly, um, really beautiful. And they're almost looking around as if, like you were on the lookout for something. So they're looking around like that. And they say to me, we're getting our bearings of where we are. And then once they had their groundedness, their bearings, they lifted their chest, their heart chakras to the sky, and it's like an honoring. So really, an honoring of Gaia, and an honoring of the sun or spirit, if you will, lifting their hearts up, feeling that heart connection all the way through to Gaia. I feel completely connected to Gaia, the universe, body and soul through them. And they're saying, yes, yes, yes. And there is the divine masculine and divine feminine. Sometimes they're all in one being, but they're showing up as two energies together, but distinct. And then they turn toward each other and they put their hearts right on each other. And they started, sharing energy. And it reminds me of an Alex Gray painting that I once saw. That's what it feels like in my body and as I watch them. And then they turned apart from each other, and I could still see that connectedness. So if there was love going between them as they had their hearts between, and then they opened up and they started to turn, and that love between them, that light, the light of love started shining out, almost arcing out as they turned, making a rainbow of light. And I heard them say web of light. And they said that the web of light and love is all around. And I don't know if you've ever seen taffy made or cotton candy made. So they were showing that this web of light was all around, and they were showing that you have to, in a sense, in a concentrated way, break it. And it reminded me of once I saw taffy being made and being woven, and then to break that, it was like, it really had to be pulled. Or if you've seen somebody make cotton candy and then they kind of and the web of light is they're saying that the web of light is unbroken unless we consciously or unconsciously reeve it apart from each other. And then when with that action of reeving it apart, it's like the other person started to the divine, when the divine feminine was showing me this, when she did that and kind of broke the web of light, it was like the divine masculine started to wither away, just, could see there was instantaneously no life force in him. And they're saying, and then they joined hands again. They turned toward each other. So interesting how through all these images, it's almost like a dance that they're doing together. They turned back to each other and they held their hands, and I could see the light forming and moving between their hands. And they were saying that they're here to be in love. They're here. The divine masculine and the divine feminine are in us, within us, without us. So inside of us and outside of us, Gaia and the universe, the divine masculine, divine feminine, within us. They're here to be in love. That's what they came for. That is the purity of that consciousness. And they're saying any severing of the connection between them is some like a death, and they're saying that there are boundless connections between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. They showed me the earth, and they showed me like the soil, the terra firma, and then they brought me to water. And then, it's like mountains and then waveforms and plants and insects. And they're showing me that not only within each vessel is body and soul, masculine and feminine, divine masculine and divine feminine. All around us, these relationships are meant to connect us to ourselves and to one another. And they're showing any reeving of that is creating an absence of love, an absence of light. And that's like living on a planet where there is no energy, no life force energy. It's almost like instantaneous. And they're even showing me this with a person littering, in a sense, like throwing some garbage out into the world. That's in a sense like a breaking of that web of light and love. And they're asking us to be more courteous to ourselves and to others. They're showing me images of, like, when you're in a hurry and you're like, oh, it's just this time. It's just this time. They're like, slow down. You have the seconds that it would take to be in connection with yourself, to be in integrity with yourself, to take care of putting that thing where it goes, to doing what you need to leave in presence with yourself. And they're saying those precious seconds, those seconds when it's so easy to, in a sense, leave a part of yourself behind, make a choice that disconnects you. They're saying, slow down. You deserve those seconds. Those seconds connect you not only to yourself, but then to the rest of the world, to every person you are communicating with and connecting with during the day. And they're showing me it's like people like you're truly connected with, your coworkers, your family members, but also people who are passing you by on the freeway or the street or on your journey on the bus. Every time we make a choice to sever from what is our naturalness, our instinct, the thing that connects us to ourselves, we are disconnecting from our to ourselves from ourselves, and we create this opportunity for disconnection with other. And they're saying really love yourself enough to give yourself the benefit of the love of the few seconds that would allow you to be in complete integrity with yourself. And they say those seconds are a sacred union. And that is such a what a beautiful way to look at, seconds in our day when we're making a choice or not making a choice. Making a choice to be whole and feel whole or not. It's just seconds, they're saying. Give it to yourself. It's a little thing that is so energetically so enormous or expansive. And now they're laughing with delight. And they're saying that sacred union in the self is a delightful experience. It is, it is the ecstasy of self when we allow ourselves to both be the container and the action, and to really find balance in the wholeness, holding the container and the stillness and the movement within. And even in that almost in between of the chaos of the energy in the vessel moving and we're not knowing where it's going. And then it springs into action through divine movement. It's the ecstatic dance of the self, and that's what they're really wanting to share with us today, that sacred union outside of the self emerges, springs forth from the space we've allowed inside of ourselves for sacred union. It is the contemplation and the beingness that springs from the contemplation. It is the silence and then the sound that springs from the silence. And they say, what a joyful noise, what a joyful tone. And they're saying to me, I love it when they talk to me directly to me. They said it's like when you go to the void and you're in that complete stillness, and then you see the sound of the Om. You hear it, you feel it, and then I'll see the Om symbol like start moving from the depths of the void. So, allow yourself these precious moments and see what springs forth within you from the ecstasy of union within yourself. And they say, it's not too late if you know that you're exercising, implementing your divine feminine or your divine masculine more than the other. One is more present in your life than the other. Sit with that and invite the other part to show you the way forward. What does the other part of you need to fully bloom, to flourish, holding hands with the other part of you? And they just started doing this dance where they're putting their hands on each other and then moving away and coming back, and how it's almost like, imagine if you were a dancer kind of reminds me of, I think it's flow in the five rhythms. It's a swirling dance. It's just completely smooth. But imagine that you were in a dance with yourself and you were blindfolded. And every time you turned, your fingers came right back to the preciousness of the other hand. And it infinitely, it wouldn't matter um, how you turned, it would always be this finding of this perfect touch within the self. And they say we could go on about this forever. It is our destiny to be in ecstasy of the knowing of ourself and each other. That is our beauty, our gift, our vibration for the world. But we would love to communicate with you about your experience. So, Bella, what would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I loved when you were saying the seconds, and like ecstasy and bliss is always there, and we just need to kind of peel off the layers so that we can feel it again. And sometimes in this world where there's so much stimulation, whether it's stimulation for the senses or stimulation like sexual stimulation, we forget what's that already there truly in balance. And I actually was thinking about Tim, who we're working with in Unlock Your Design in the Bats project, when he sometimes speaks about the materials that he's choosing, when he is dressing or the way he combs his hair. Like that's part of it. Or Kirsten, who works with Richard Rudd, and for the teas, the way he cleans the tray, the way he puts the tea in as a woman, when you think even about like a lover, you see them do that to their things, and you're like, I want to be touched like that. I want to share that with you. I want to be in those seconds with you, because I know how much preciousness that can be in just that. So I feel the texture of that, and it excites me, and it brings me back to some kind of naturalness, which for me is the truth of the 46. It's my SQ. So for me, it's the portal to my emotions. That's the portal to the delight, and to the delight. In one way, I feel like it's a little bit of a boring word. Like I would kind of have the gift frequency as the sensual or something. So maybe we could speak about the gift frequency of the 46 gene key or gate, and like just understand, because like always I like to bring it into the practical. So this is like I understand the geometry of it, but more like a little bit more in practice. Like, what does this gift frequency mean? The gift frequency is the pathway. So shadows will trigger sometimes the city is the glimpses we get, but the pathway is the gift. And what does the gift of delight or sensuality mean in a human life?
Well, they were talking about, as you were talking, they were like, yes, preciousness. And also they were using the word surprise. And they like the words. They say there are other words in the human dialect that, besides preciousness and surprise, that point to delight, magic, synchronicities. Now they're showing it to me in pictures. It's like, when the sun, when somebody takes a beautiful picture of the sun or some alignment in nature. So there's it's like a surprise that, oh, that exists. But it also relates to delight, relates to an opening up of the self. So they're saying it's like an opening up to wholeheartedness. They're saying that what we were sharing about the seconds is when you're wholehearted with yourself in those seconds, you choose yourself. You turn back, and when you have the awareness, you turn back and you take care, do the thing that you would have neglected and not been in integrity with. So there's a wholeheartedness to delight that, wholeheartedness with the self. And it really is and they say wholeheartedness, yes, but then they just show me the heart opening. Show me. Now I understand why at the beginning they connected with Gaia and they were really present with her, and then they from that place of groundedness they just opened the heart. So it's really about open-heartedness, the closing of the heart, even just a glimpse, even just a nano movement is a movement away from delight. And they said when you have open-heartedness, almost everything delights. It could be the wrinkle on someone's face. It could be the touch of, that your body in some way glances by another. It could be the laughter of a child. They keep showing me like children laughing. That is the complete openness of the heart. And they're flashing me pictures of my baby. My son and daughter-in-law just sent me this video of my grandbaby who's 2 learning to say beautiful and just laughing with the most delight, and they're showing me that her heart in those moments was fully open, not only to herself, but to both of her parents and to these sounds that that are in a sense foreign. And they say that this is a good point, that when things are in a sense foreign to us, strange to us, we tend to, humans pull in their heart instead of, leading with the heart. So they say the delight comes from the open-heartedness and the preciousness and the honoring and the sacredness of being present with yourself and other. And then they said, delightful.
I see the braids so much today, and how the truth in the words, in actually how it's built up in the gene key sequence or in the human design. So you said the delight of opening up the self, and the harmonic gate is the 29, which has to do with wholeheartedness and saying yes, right? And then the 25, the low frequency is constriction, and the higher frequency is opening up to universal love. So in just that sentence, it was really speaking about, the delight of opening up yourself and the connection, that harmonic gate in the 29 that's connecting the pure life force of the sacral center to the G center, the love direction identity. And that's the tantric channel. And for me, the 46 is so much about the sensuality of tantra that includes the densest, the physical, the animal, includes the heart, the wholeheartedness, and then the more subtle frequencies, both of creatorship and of oneness, because we feel the other, like we feel the Om coming in, we can feel it through our ears and our senses. And I also feel there's one more thing, if we look back to the I Ching, about the geometry. So earth over wind is the 46. And earth is the trigram of Gene Key 2, and wind is the trigram of Gene Key 57. And the synchronicities, like that's kind of what we say about the second Gene Key, and that's building up this. And really it's the science of luck. When you're saying wholeheartedly yes to an experience, whether it is a tantric experience with somebody or it's a tantric experience with life, it doesn't matter. It's like when you're fully there, fully open, fully receiving, then it's like it can't really go wrong.
That's one of the things that you're bringing up, is one of the things that I most love about these soul conversations, these soul communications, is the interconnectedness of all of the keys, gates, hexes, trigrams. It's every time, each time we have another communication, I see more and more those connections really flourishing. It's almost like they're all working together to help us in a real pragmatic way connect with our openness, our wholeheartedness, by, you know, showing us, by weaving the way, and through your brilliance of, you know, because as you know, I don't memorize, you know, that's not my gift. And so, you know, I'm just sharing the message, and then you hear all the interconnectedness with all this wisdom that you have, and how you are able to see that. It's just one of my favorite parts of that. And they're saying, as I was talking, they were saying, you're opening up to your wholeheartedness.
You know, that's your life's work in this life cycle, right? And you have the 29 in your chart as well. So, and we have an electromagnetic there, I think, because I have the
Yeah.
46. So that's the beauty of connection. And I guess that is what really has been said today, is that you have to have it in yourself first. You can't share it before you have it in yourself. But that doesn't take, I mean, sharing it is where I feel like we're going, and how I see that we, like, the new world is opening up through the sacred marriage of new kinds of couples that have understood, like, freedom and romantic love going hand in hand, and that isn't from fear, but from openness and expansion, that we are together looking in a similar direction.
They used a really great, when you were just talking, they used a great visual to illustrate what you were saying. They showed a person who's not open up to their wholeheartedness, and imagine plugging into energy, and there's no energy. So when you plug in, there's no, you know, like when you plug in, they showed me a plugging into a socket, and it couldn't receive the energy in the socket. It was just empty. So when we're not open or wholehearted, it doesn't matter who we connect with. We can't, in a sense, experience the connectedness and the, you know, the connecting of the gates and channels, if you will, if you want to look at it from a human design perspective. But energetically, we can't, if we're empty inside, and we're not opening our heart, we can't even receive the energy we think we want to connect to, plug into, share with. It's so fascinating. It was interesting.
Yeah, and if you guys hopped on now, please, if you have the 46 gate or gene key, ask questions. Tell us where you have it in your charts. I see some people that have commented, but if there's anything you wonder about this energy, please let us know. I might be a little bit biased, but I was writing the copy for this gate or gene key for the archetypes that we're doing in the 64 doors last weekend, and I think I spent this, like, it felt like I was making love to it from the morning to the night. And I was saying, this archetype has the answer for everything. It really has the sensuality of being able to feel the feather, feel the whisper, feel the most subtle, to just really going into that exploration with the 29, saying yes to whatever comes, whatever experience that is, and including the animal nature, and the heart, and everything that we are. And I'm wondering, for me, I realized, because it's built up of wind and earth, which is the divine feminine, that is the direction, that is, you know, that's what we say is the gate of direction. And then the 57, which is the clarity in the city, and the intuition. So when we have direction and intuition, we don't need anything else. And that's what's making up this this gate, which is, the second link is my life's work, and the 57 is both my Saturn and my vocation. So I could be biased, but it just feels like, if we can understand that seriousness is not the way to go, and that as soon as we can open up to even what it feels like eating a mango, or I don't know, a pineapple, and allowing whatever juice to, like, come down your hands, when we allow the delight of those simple things, or of, like, putting that tea there and sharing it with somebody you love, it's like that's when everything opens up. And that opens up the constriction in the programming partner 25, that opens the tantric, that opens up to the intuition, to the direction, to the clarity. Like, for me, this the essential, if we could have a sensual relationship to life that takes us out of seriousness, that's, for me, the answer.
Yeah, they were, as you were talking, there was a lot going on, but the thing I remember most is they were showing me a little child, like a toddler, and they were showing me several toddlers, and they were showing me how um, this toddler was afraid to take a step forward, and he got this. They first showed me the seriousness on his face. He got really really serious, and then he fell back. He landed on his bottom, and then they show me this other toddler who is wobbling but laughing at the same time, and then just kind of like takes some steps forward. It still falls, but then gets back up in delight of this new experience. And they were saying that um fear is a catalyst for seriousness. When
Mhm.
we are afraid to step forward or try or show weakness, or of what we perceive as weakness or not knowing. So it's like a come from of I'm not whole. So, ooh, this is scary. Ooh, I'm not enough. Ooh, and then it's like I can't take the step forward, and I fall back on my bottom without that passion. And um they're showing me again the little child who falls, and it's almost as if the fall doesn't even register. There's just so much excitement and exuberance to try again and move forward. So
And this is the love of being here in physical form. And I don't feel like babies are thinking, oh, why am I in this body? Like it's like
yeah,
they are there and they are
yeah,
fully there. So here,
yeah,
that is the signature of the 46, actually
yeah,
feeling it's not just an opportunity, it's like it's a blessing to
yeah,
everything that we can feel and experience through this vessel. And often the mind comes in and says, oh, I'm aging, or I can't control my body, and why are you sick, and why do you have this, and what, like the mind is almost like the horse and the person on the horse, and that's like we are not seeing that we are one, but we are kind of
right.
like treating the body like if it was something under us.
And they show me that we slap our own hands, like we, like we're busy slapping our own hands instead of like touch. Like, I mean, like, think about that. Like, I understand what they were showing me. So they're like, you're slapping your own hands, it keeps you from moving forward. But when your hands reach for each other, and you have this, like, touch your fingertips, this is so soothing. And feel, just feel the connection when we just simply touch our hands together. And then imagine doing that with someone else. And they say if we focused on touching ourselves as opposed to slapping our hands, we would feel that connection, and they just said the words making yourselves wrong. So they're like, where do you make yourselves wrong? And there's no wrongness. There's no wrongness of you. You're going to try some things, and some of it's going to feel exciting and glidey. It's like going down a slide. You jump down the slide. How you can't mess up going down a slide. You either flow down or you stick down, but either way is an experience. And you go down the slide, and there are like more slides.
It's
More,
kind of funny here too, because the 46 is succeeding where other people fail and failing where other people succeed, but a 46 doesn't care about it because it's like it's in for the experience. So
yeah,
it feels like it's a serendipity. It feels like it's in the right place anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
I'm loving that.
and we do have a
They,
question.
they they are asking you, did that answer your, was that enough information for the seriousness question? They want to know if it made sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I actually want to make sure that we do the questions before it gets too late. So,
Yeah.
uh, any best use of the 46 now, the way the world is? Like, I mean, I feel like some of my pleasures, like, are taken away. I love to dance, and I can't right now because we are not allowed, right? We're 6 feet apart. So are there anything to say about right now in uncertain times? Like, I would feel like the 46 actually doesn't care. It's like, this is not a failure. And like, you can always touch the person that is in your household. And if there's nobody there, just touch yourself. Yeah, that was what I wanted to say. The nervous system, like, touch is so important. I have tried to like resolve conflict many times because I have a 6-line IQ, and I always kind of look at the situation objectively. Always sounds very subjective, but like, I often have that clarity, but it doesn't help, because if the person you're speaking to, if their nervous system is empty up, they are not going to be able to listen. So you kind of need to like make the people come back into their vessel, into their body. Otherwise, there can never be a solution. And many times the words, once they come back in their body, there's no need to say anything anymore because we're home again. So there is a homecoming in it. And I guess that the 46, again, being biased maybe, is the very best place to be grounded right now in these scary times. And that's what Brihan was asking about. What about trust? That's the ultimate word for the 46. It is in trust. That's why it doesn't need to be serious.
Yeah,
So,
and about scary times, they're and you were talking about dance. They're like, dance in your apartment, dance in your home, dance with yourself. They were literally dancing with themselves and dance with the people who are in your home. Find what you can do to find the joy within your home, in your home space. What do you love? You know, did you allow yourself to love what you created before these scary times? They're saying, use what you can, be fearless, and really truly experience what you can. They say in every epoch of the earth, there has been scary times. And even before what's going on in your world right now, when you weren't afraid, they're saying that there were people on this earth who were experiencing scary times. And they're showing me, like, every decade there's some scary time, that there's some person who is in uncertainty. There are groups of peoples, there are tribes who are facing uncertainty. And they say, what did they do to make it through? They collected with each other, with who they felt they could. They joined their hearts. They made the best of what they had. Um, they focused on the beauty inside of themselves. And they're saying this doesn't negate that there are scary times, but what are you making of what you do have? And they're saying that while they realize globally we are in kind of globally scary times, they're just saying that throughout the whole history of the earth, they can't think of a time, they can't pinpoint a time where someone on earth wasn't facing uncertainty and scariness, and those beings made it through. And so they're saying to us, take heart and find the joy. Dance with yourself in your apartment, touch your family members, be present with them, open your heart, and find the love within your life wherever it is. The ultimate starts within yourself. The ultimate sacred union starts within you. What kindness can you give, be, do, share with yourself? It's like those precious seconds that they started with. And remember to touch yourself, to love yourself. And they bring the fingers back there. And I know there was another part you went from this. They really wanted to talk about this in certain times, but there was something else that you had referred to. What was it?
I mean, I feel like we kind of answered that. It was about trust. Is there anything else that's coming through for you that you want to add about that before we kind of wrap up?
They say to trust yourselves, or learn to trust yourselves. They're showing me that many people do trust themselves, but they're also showing me that many people don't trust themselves. And in a sense, they're using a human design term. They're saying that people who have learned to live their not self don't trust themselves. So, any and shadow, they say, but there is, trust. Learn to trust yourself if you don't trust yourself, and find, if you struggle with trust, find the places that you are completely trustworthy within yourself. You can count on yourself and build from that place. There's a place within you. Even if you feel like they show me sliding scales of how some people completely trust themselves and they live completely in integrity, and other people have low levels of trust. But they're showing that every person has some experience of trust within their being. Locate that and build on it. And they're talking about seriousness does not imbue trust. So find the delight, find what, that's a way to build trust within yourself. Find what's precious to you, because there's a truth to that. There's a knowing to that you can trust. They say that you can build trust within yourself by finding what is there, and moving forward from that. And they say when you focus on delight, they're saying that when there's no trust, or when there's a lack of trust, or when there's a reaving apart, there isn't delight. So, they're giving a whole different strategy. It's like, what delights you in your life? If you don't want to think about, if you don't want to dig down and find the trust within yourself, find the place that delights you and spend some time there, and love yourself as you do. That I love that,
I love that too.
taking the self out of it.
And I feel the connection to the 25, which is the programming partner that says, I have to accept. Do you hear me twice? I hear myself twice. That has to accept whatever is. It's like accept, and it's like it comes there. There is this initiation from that acceptance, from the constriction, the seriousness. And the 25, if you're reading the 64 doors, the way that we portray it, it's called love, and it says it has to go through so many trials and so much uncertainty, so that it could actually say, like, heck, I don't want to be here, but instead it's going through that initiation, which goes together with the 51 in the channel of initiation. There's something when the world is falling apart that actually can give us the strength to open up to more trust in ourselves, but also a higher knowing that there's a universal love there. And it's not a logical thing, but many times when we are put through those periods of time where it feels like there is no certainty, we come out on the other side initiated to something bigger.
And when you were talking, they lifted their arms up and they lifted their hearts up. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah.
Simone, I have to run because I have a reading in 3 minutes. And I mean, this is a good time to say, if anybody wants a reading with Simone or with me or with us together, you can also just reach out to us, because we love to do this also one-on-one or two-on-one.
Yeah, so delightful. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye.